All my life, sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look.
Home of the greatest franchise in sports, the LA Lakers, and the home of the greatest athlete in the world today, LeBron James, the King. Woo! Woo! Lakers, let's do it.
Oh, look who was styling and profiling before the game. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Ball Dnt Lie podcast. This is your boy Dexter, your host, the one and only. Welcome back to another show. I hope you guys are having a great new year. 2022, man, coming out so quick. Man, for y'all out there, man, you know, COVID right now is crazy. You know what I mean? I had to, quarantine for a little bit. I had to separate myself from the crowd and stuff like that. But obviously, I'm good. Thank God. Nothing really happened to me and my family. But I know out there it's kind of crazy right now, so y'all trying to stay safe out there. The NBA, in a sense, is going through their own struggles too with COVID. Some tests are, inconclusive. Some tests are just head scratchers. How can you take a rapid test in 15 minutes and both come back negative, but you take a PCR and it comes back positive? So the NBA is kind of like in the gray area. They're not sure exactly what to do. So hopefully they get their butts together and figure that stuff out because, obviously it's serious. If you have COVID, obviously if you're vaccinated, hey, the chance of you surviving is a very high statistic, a high probability. But in a sense, you can still carry it and pass it on to people who have, compromised immune systems. But I'm not here to talk about, life and death and all that. Just try to stay safe out there, man. So before we kind of get into the whole entire show, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. First of all, obviously you see this right here. You see that up on the board right there, right? The late, great Kobe Bryant, obviously representing the Los Angeles Lakers. We're going to talk about the Lakers in this whole entire episode because we're trying to figure out exactly if they're a truther or they just not a good team at all. So we're going to break that stuff down to you. And if you are new to this channel, don't be shy. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that bell notification right there. Every time we drop a video, you get a notification. Thumbs up if you can on all the videos. Or on this particular video if you like. We're on all streaming platforms. We're on TikTok. We're on social media platforms. We're on TikTok. We're on Twitter. We're on IG, Facebook, etc. You can name it. And as far as like the audio route for streaming, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. All the links in the bottom. If you've been watching this channel, you already know the deal, right? So glad to have you guys back. 2022. Hope it'll be a great year. 21 was kind of tough with COVID, but we're kind of getting past that. But let's go ahead and talk about the Los Angeles Lakers because that's where the bread and butter is going to be at. This is the conversation that a lot of you guys were asking me to drop. And the reason why I was waiting for the Lakers to tilt, right? To figure out, let's get the chemistry together and try to figure out if they can actually coexist, right? If they can mesh together and obviously pan out to be the team that everybody in LA, or if you're a Lakers fan, or if you're a Lakers hater, right, see them either fail or succeed somehow, right? Obviously, we've seen the struggles so far this season with the Lakers, and obviously a lot has to do with rotational players getting hurt. COVID obviously is messing up the lineup, but then as far as like the big three on that team, starting from LeBron James, Anthony Davis to Russ, these guys were inconsistent with matchups as far as playing together. So when they had to match up on the court against other players in the league, AD's missing games, LeBron's missing games early in the year. Obviously, Russ has been there thick and thin. He's the most durable guy on the team. He hasn't really missed anything at all, either if it's COVID-related or if it's injury-related. So can this team mesh together? And then my answer, we're in 2022. This is January, beginning of January. And they still haven't figured out, even though they went on a 3-game winning streak, that to me is not something that I can use to build for them. Yeah, obviously it's good for the team, camaraderie, it makes you feel good and you're trying to build something. I understand all that. But beating the Kings, those things are not, in a sense, feasible to use in an argument or in a debate about if the Lakers are actually good enough. Because when it comes to top tier teams, they don't beat them. Very rare this year. They beat any top of the big dogs. When it comes to teams that are mediocre in the middle of the pack, that's the teams they struggle against. They struggle at home. I believe they have a subpar 500 record. Obviously, their record speaks for itself as far as like total wins and total losses, but they're not good at home, and they're definitely have a losing record on the road. I think they're 7-9 on the road. So that just explains to you how difficult it will be for a lot of people out there who are Laker Nation fans, right? If you're a Laker, purple and gold, you represent, you have to understand old LeBron can play any team on the road, especially if it's in the Eastern Conference Finals or in Eastern Conference semifinals or in the first round or two, whatever it may be. LeBron there could probably, in a sense, carry you a team. And we all seen what he did post Kyrie. He took a George Hill at his point guard at his helm. He took a team that wasn't that good enough with J.R. Smith and yada, yada, yada to the NBA Finals just to get waxed. Remember, game 1 in the Finals, he drops 50. They had a chance to either win the game or tie the game, whatever it may be. And George Hill misses the free throw, and J.R. Smith gets the rebound, and he runs to half court, and they're all in him like, hey, man, like, shoot the ball. And they lost. Or they go to overtime in a sense, So, and he beat the Celtics in the 7-game series in Boston. So that just tells you, like, the old LeBron in his prime, in his pinnacle, right? This dude was absolutely apex dominant. And he still is, to a sense, for his age. We're not knocking him for that. That's 100%. Like, I'm not here to, out here and slander LeBron James. I'm a LeBron fan. You know what I mean? For a lot of people who know me out there, know I'm a LeBron fan. I don't root for the Lakers. So if LeBron's on the Lakers, I don't root for you. If LeBron's playing against my team, which is the Warriors, for a lot of you people out there that know me, I don't root for that either. So when LeBron was going against the Warriors, I was going for us. And then when he was in Miami playing against the Spurs and OKC in the Mavs, I was rooting for LeBron James because I wanted him to win at that time. So going back to what I'm saying about the Lakers, can LeBron at his age, you got to understand, this guy's averaging the second most minutes in the league as of right now. Can he, lead this cavalry? You got to understand. Second in the league in minutes behind Fred VanVleet in Toronto. And I believe 3 of the players in that starting lineup are the top minute getters in the league. When it comes to rookie Scotty Barnes, and then you have OG and Anunoby, then you have VanVleet. Those guys are top 5 in minutes. Obviously, they're young. And then they're trying to play into the playoff format, the playoff tournament. But that's a whole different topic. LeBron James, at his age, what he's doing is unheard of. People can't fathom that. Even though I've been watching LeBron for the longest time, still is in awe, because of what he can do at his age and how he sustained his body and his durability, and he prevents any major injuries happening to him. And a lot of it is because of how he takes care of his body. But is that enough for him to make it to the playoffs and win? The only way this happens is if AD becomes the AD of 2020. If that becomes AD of the bubble when he was in Disney and Orlando, that Anthony Davis, who led the team in scoring, who was basically the guy they had to go through the offense through, even though respectfully it was LeBron's team. That's the AD that we want to see. But that AD hasn't been there since then, since the bubble. It wasn't the same AD. We all know AD last year, he flamed out in a sense. He got hurt. He missed about, a month or so, month and a half, late in the year, going into the playoffs. Didn't play well down the stretch. So everybody's looking at AD like, hey, what's going on? And this year, even though he averaged like 24 and 9 or 10, it wasn't the same energy, the same kind of vibe. So for me, watching the Lakers and dissecting how they play, in most of their games, they're playing catch-up. They're playing catch-up. And LeBron, I see his body language when they lose a game, especially if they're up or they're down in a sense, and they have a chance to win that game and they lose because of terrible plays, because of Russ, who's been a turnover machine, as well as LeBron James. And those cost you points. You know, they'll convert on fast break for the other team. So it's, to me, they have to figure out how they can be a top 4 team. And right now, the Lakers are not in a bad shape. They're 6th in the West. As bad as I'm harping about what the Lakers are going through and what they're dealing with and how they're playing, I mean, they're in the 6th seed. And if you look at the whole entire NBA, if you count from the best team, which is the Golden State Warriors, to the worst team, right? The Lakers are right in the middle. You slice in half. They're 15th amongst the best teams in the league. But when it comes conference, the East is a little bit more stacked and with more consistent winners in the West, which is kind of odd. It hasn't been like that, I don't know, in 25, 30 plus years. But the Lakers are 6. And if I look at this, I'm going to run these advanced stats. So, like, for me, I don't want to go into a rant in a sense. I don't want to sit here and try to make it seem like it's not impossible. But it is possible for the Lakers. They have a shot. But the problem would be what they do going forward when they get all the pieces together. There's a couple people they got to go. DeAndre Jordan ain't working out for you. I don't understand. I don't understand why you're using DJ when you have Dwight Howard, to me, who is a more of an impact player on your team. He brings energy. Either it's nasty or it's good. You understand? Like, if the team needs some physicality, right? They need some protection around the rim. They need somebody to knuckle up a little bit, send a message like, hey, man, it's enough. Give you a little love tap like Shaq said. DJ ain't that guy, and DJ is washed. I'm sorry. DJ, when Nicky Claxton in the Nets, who has potential, and he's younger than you, obviously, I'll beat you for your job, and they say, we don't want you no more, you're gone. And then they sign a bunch of guys like, you know, like Millsap and Blake Griffin. Obviously, they have more dynamic in their offense, whatever it may be. But then you leave, you know, the Brooklyn Nets, you come to L.A., and you fall out the rotation so bad, and the only reason why they need you is because when they need bodies, yeah, the Lakers are going to do something about trading him for sure. I mean, I don't see DJ being here past the trade deadline, so it can happen sooner than later. But going back to what I'm saying is that players need to come back in the rotation. Ariza missed most of the season because of his injury. Same thing with THT. He's been inconsistent because of his injury, and he came back late into the season. Not late into the season, but he missed the first good portion of the month of the season. Then you had Bradley, who's been in and out as far as injuries. Kendrick Nunn hasn't played yet. Kendrick Nunn, who is supposed to be your backup point guard to Russ, hasn't played a game yet. And you have the whole Rondo situation, and they ship him to Cleveland because Cleveland is in dire need of a point guard. And the Lakers are like, hey, we can clear 4 minutes of our cap space. Take Rondo right now. And they ship Rondo to Cleveland. Obviously, the Lakers get Denzel Valentine, and they ship him to New York for, you know, obviously for cap reasons, so they can have cap flexibility, and it worked out. So now when Kendrick Nunn does come back, that's what we're going to be talking about, right? We're going to see what the roster is supposed to be. Kent Bazemore missed games. He came back. He had COVID situations. He came back. So when this team is fully healthy and the rotation is figured out by February, I believe the Lakers, who are hovering around 6 right now, could creep into the 5 and 4 seed. And it's not that many games. If they go on a 5-6 game, you know, slate of games and they go on a run, they can creep up to the 4th spot. And their defense is not good, so they would have to beat you offensively. Regardless of what person you add on that team as of right now. If you add Ariza, you add Bazemore, if you add Kendrick Nunn, your defense is around 15th in the league as far as advanced stats. So I don't get it. You know, when people say, oh, we got great defense, we got this and that. AD cannot guard. Even though, like, when I say guard, in a sense, he can block shots, he can rebound, I'll give you that. But defense efficiency, he doesn't guard a lot of bigs in this league that are that good. He just doesn't do that. He covers, you know, either the centers that are not that physical or not that great in a sense, or he covers somewhat of a smaller forward that'll kind of leak out, and he just dominates in the paint as like a free safety in a sense. So obviously, other than your anchor, if you want to list him as your anchor, Russ can't play defense. So for the ones out there saying that Russ can play D, he can't lock up a trash can that cannot move. It's that simple. Russ have no defense. Kendrick Nunn's a better defender as far as defensive efficiency and defensive rating. Kendrick Nunn's a better defender than Russ. And obviously, we're looking at age and mileage in your body. I get Russ probably back in OKC early years, man. It's arguable, but right now, it's not that guy. Rondo's not that guy either. Rondo fell off a cliff too. Or maybe it's just the way he was playing in rotation. I don't know. So you don't have nobody that can really play defense on that team. Really, if you look at it. LeBron can't, whoever it may be. If you look at in the West, Kawhi Paul George come back. He can't guard those guys. He can't guard those guys. And it's fortunate that in the West, there's not a lot of small forwards that are prolific in a sense, right? If you look at it, like Wiggins is having a hell of a year. Andrew Wiggins is balling out. And in a sense, I believe LeBron can't handle that in the playoffs in a 48-minute game when he's playing 38 minutes a game himself. So you get my drift. This is not about slander. I'm not here trying to kill LeBron. What I'm saying is that realistically, just sit back for a second and hear me out. Russ can't guard nobody. Whoever your two guard may be, and that position fluctuates on a given basis. It can be Kent Bazemore one night. It can be Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley's solid too as far as a defender. Avery Bradley, you have who else? You have THT, you have Monk. Those guys come off the bench for sure. So obviously Stanley Johnson, they keep him to another 10-day contract or they sign him the rest of the year, which they should. He is your best defender, like hands down. So to see them struggle, and I'm going to look at it, I'm going to pull up right here for you guys so you guys can actually see what I'm saying. When it comes to points, right, when they score, they're up there. That's what I'm saying. If the Lakers can figure out a way to outbeat you scoring-wise and you can't stop them, then the Lakers have a chance. Right now, they're fifth in the league in scoring, and they're averaging about 111 points a game. And that's without a fully loaded team. So imagine when you add your rotation and your players like Kendrick Nunn who can hoop, right? When THT can come back in form, right? When Monk, obviously, he is picking up right now. Obviously, we know about Carmelo. That's why I haven't talked about Carmelo. Carmelo's playing so, he's playing so superior to what we anticipated. We thought he's going to be like, okay, he's going to be over here to hit a couple shots here and there and sit the bench and what it may be. He's playing above his expectations. So I haven't talked about Melo. Melo's doing his thing. Besides that, you have no other guys really that can supplement LeBron sitting down or AD in a sense. So, but for them to average those many points, I tip my hat off to you guys for a team that hasn't really been there. I mean, you guys have been pretty much depleted in the sense of COVID and injuries. But going back to their statistics, so the Lakers are fifth in the league in scoring, right? Rebounding, they're 12th. So they're okay. You have to understand, like, they don't really, without AD don't really rebound like that. He's more of like, you know, defensively, yeah, he can give it to you. Offensively, yeah, here and there, but he's not a go-getter. He's not there to crash the boards and give me that ball. You know what I mean? So when we have Russ and LeBron, and it'll kind of spike it up a little bit, but obviously 12, they should be better than that. Like, assists per game, they're about 11th in the league, at about 24 assists, which is okay. 24 assists means you're scoring pretty high. Because if assists only counts when the bucket goes in. So 24 assists a game is pretty good. This is where they kill you. This is where it hurts. This is the reason why the Lakers are a sixth spot. This is the reason why the Lakers are in the middle of the NBA as far as total team. They're 26th. 26 out of 30 teams. 30 teams. Okay, there's 30 teams in the league. 26 spot as far as opposing points per game. Opponents points per game. So OPPG. Meaning that they're getting scored on one of the highest. So if they're playing against whoever, they're having career numbers, right? Or season high numbers. Like, for example, when San Antonio Spurs came into LA, they dropped 140 on the Lakers' head. A whopping. I mean, that's crazy for the Spurs. And they're not supposed to be like that in a sense. Like, they're not even one of the best teams. They're obviously in rebuild mode as we speak. Right? Coach Pop knows that. That's why, you know, They're just going through a whole rephrase right now. But yeah, the Lakers, they get scored on. That's what I'm saying. The defense is suspect, and they need to figure it out. I believe when they add Kendrick Nunn and those guys down the road, it'll benefit. But when it comes down to it, if they cannot defend, they got to outscore you. And if they're playing on the road in the playoffs, they're going to lose. Let me say that one more time. If the Lakers are in the playoff on the road, I don't care what round they in, they're going to lose because of their defense. But yeah, man, so going back to what I'm saying, right? So their record right now as we speak, they play Atlanta Hawks, I believe, tomorrow in LA, in the crypto arena, whatever they want to call that, right? Crypto.com arena. RIP to Staples Center, man. It's crazy. But anyways, going back, so they're 2019, right? So they're above 500. Obviously in the conference, they're 12-13, so they're struggling in-house. But when they cross the fence to the east is when they actually play pretty good. But in the West, they have a losing record. In the division, they have a losing record. They're 2-5. Like, they're not beating the Phoenix Suns, right? I don't care what you think. They're not beating the Phoenix Suns consistently. They play 4 times. I think Phoenix probably 3-1 in that, if not 4-zip. Warriors, same thing. You know, they can go 4-0 in the Lakers. 3-1. The only team that might beat them, it's the Clippers because they're missing Kawhi Leonard, obviously, and then Paul George is out, for the last 2 weeks. He's going to be out for the remaining for 2 more weeks. So at home, they're 13-10. Away, they're 7-9, like I mentioned, right? The last 10 games, they've been 4-6. So they have overall 10 games. The last 10 games, they have a losing record. But then out of those 10 games, the last 3 games, they won 3 in a row. But to me, it doesn't matter. You can't beat Sacramento and be, we're in a streak. You can't beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, who did not have Karl Anthony Towns, who did not have D'Angelo Russell. They didn't have those guys. And you guys barely beat them 108-103. And I get it, win's a win. I'm not here to harp it. Okay. For all the ones out there that be hitting me up, letting me know, giving me an earful, I'll give it to you. Okay, fine. Win is a win. Right? But I don't want to hear the same excuses. Same excuses when it comes down to crunch time in February and March. Because post NBA All-Stars when that's when you really see the real NBA, right? Because right now it's like, it's whatever. But that's what everybody's ramping up to get their games in order to figure out what seeding they're gonna be, who they're trying to avoid, right? This happens all post NBA All-Star. So after that, to the end of the season, it's a marathon right now, but it's gonna be a race at that point. So we're gonna see what the Lakers are gonna do. And I'm going to tell you right now, the only way, and I said this before, the only way the Lakers can creep into the top 4, forget about the 5th and 6th spot. They can meet if they want. They're not going to be the top 4 or any team that plays in the playoffs. Unless they go to 4 and they're playing the 8. I'm sorry, if they go to 4 and they're playing the 5th seed and they have home court advantage, okay, maybe. So I'll retract from that. But outside of that, if they're going 5 and under, they're losing, for sure. Mock me on that if you want to. Say what you want to get it. Let it out. Go ahead. I want to hear it. Go ahead. Let it out. So I'm telling you right now, unless you can convince me, factual, statistical stuff, and have a debate with me about it, run the numbers. I'm going to tell you right now, if the Lakers go on the road in the playoffs, they ain't not winning on the road. They might sneak you 1 game. But they're not closing no games out. So if even hypothetically they go 7 games, that 7th game, sorry, LeBron James, I trust you. But I don't trust other guys like AD and Russ right now because they haven't shown me any glimpse of that. Melo will show through. Malik Monk will come through. Dwight Howard in a sense will play better for his role. But AD and Russ? Nah, I don't believe that. I can't see that happening. So we'll see what, like I said, they play against the Hawks tomorrow. Y'all can take it from there and see how they pan out. I expect the Lakers to obviously get them to maybe the 4 or 5 seed, maybe. 4 is kind of stretch, but 5, hopefully. And I wish nothing but the best for LeBron James. I don't like the Lakers, like I said. I'm not a hater either. I just don't like them. But I would love to see them in the playoffs so I can shut up a lot of people about all the Lakers are going to be this and that. We're going to win. Remember all the hype y'all was talking about in the summertime? Oh, we got Russell Westbrook. We got the big 3. Oh, we got Carmelo. We got the big 3.5. Because obviously Melo is not a fool. You can't say the big 4 with Melo, right? So 3.5, and this is what's going on. And then you have teams like the Utah Jazz, who's getting no love. They get no respect, and they're up there. And the Warriors, no one talked about in the offseason. Oh, no Klay Thompson? Y'all trash. This is what I've been hearing. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there have been hearing the same damn thing. And same thing with Denver. They're up there too. Phoenix Suns is up there too. Oh, yeah, they can't do it again. Phoenix Suns, they got lucky. And they're up there in the best, one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens. You know, Lakers, I hope y'all see you in the playoffs. I can see the truth finally come to fruition. Until then, y'all be safe out there. Don't let COVID play with y'all, man. Stop trying to play games with COVID, because COVID tell right now, COVID, man, COVID love you. COVID love your body. Want to host that body. So I'm just saying, stay safe out there, man. Try to be smart about your decisions. Until then, we'll be back for another show. Love y'all, man. Stay tuned, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. See you then. Peace, man.